All right, hello wine drinking people. We're back with more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and our good friends from Ruffino were in. This winery is now 100% owned by Constellation Brands, and the largest wine group in the world. Just gets bigger. Anyways, they still have some very good wines, I'd have to say. Even though the Ruffino label's big, it's not as big as some other labels. Well, Antinori, I think, is the only one that's bigger in Tuscany in terms of Chianti producers. Ruffino, I don't want to say it's a generic label, but you know, their wines are found in a lot of places, almost every Publix grocery store in South Florida. But they do have some really nice wines in this portfolio. Like the first one we had, this Pinot Grigio from Borgo Conventi. This is an estate that they own in Collio, one of the best areas in the Northwest for growing, you know, aromatic whites. And the Pinot Grigio, they make 10,000 six-packs of this wine. It's not a big production wine, but man, for 15 bucks, unfortunately, those people that drink Santa Margherita are going to think there's just too much wine in a bottle here. Now, Santa Margherita is light and inoffensive, and that's what people want, I think, when they look at Pinot Grigio. This wine actually has some character and some complexity if you like Pinot Grigio and you want something to have around the pool for the summer. Man, I highly recommend this wine for 15 bucks. A little bit of that bitter almond, some sea salt in the nose to complement that lemon citrus and green apple fruit. A little minerality to this wine showing on the nose also. Something you usually don't get in wines that are this inexpensive. Has a note of that briny character showing through on the finish, but a nice core of that stone fruit and the lemon citrus on the mid palate, and a hint of floral notes. Some nice length here as well. This is a very good little wine at $15. Man, the inexpensive white wine, the hit of the tasting. Well, yeah, that's why we taste the wine here at the Wine Watch. So Ruffino Chianti Classico Reserva Ducale. This is one of the biggest brands. Like I said, only Antinori is bigger. Ruffino produces about 1.5 million cases, and Antinori does about 3 million, so just double. Anyways, they make about 35,000 cases of this wine. It's 80% Sangiovese, 20% Cabernet Sauvignon, a little Caniolo and Colorino thrown in there for good measure. No new barrique. You know, they make this in a classic style, and they're coming up with a news designation for Reservas, Reserva Grand Selection, which strictly for single estate wines, which this wine will be. I think they used to purchase fruit for it, but now, and they're going to have a minimum aging of 3 years for this wine, so a little bit higher level. And you know, there's always changing the laws in Italy just to keep us on our toes, us wine drinking people. This wine's a really classic Chianti bouquet, good amount of fresh earth, kind of herbs, sage, and that dark cherry and plum fruit here, dark cocoa spice, some dried meaty notes here also. Nice complexity in this wine, smooth and round on the palate, kind of falls short a little bit to me in the mid palate, and at the end though has some of those nice spice notes coming through on the finish, and nice freshness, just, you know, not quite as complex and as deep as I would like at this price range at $42, but very good wine. And if you like classic Chianti, Tenuta, Greppone, Mazzi, Brunello di Montalcino, one of my favorite wines in the world. 100% Sangiovese by law, and these guys use 100% Slavonian oak, old barrel, traditional style. This wine's held back an additional year. 2006 is their current release. Actually, 2008 is the current release, so maybe they're just a little bit behind it. $90 retail with this wine. Ooh-ah, man. I don't know. You know, it's a nice classic style Brunello for me. Tart red cherry fruit showing some earth, some tar, porcini mushroom notes. Really focused on the palate there, but just a little bit light for me. It's a nice wine for 90 bucks. They make great wines in Montalcino. I've had Rossos that are this good. All right, the Ruffino Il Ducale. IGT, another one of the surprises of the tasting, especially when you look at the price of this wine. They changed the label on this wine to make it a little more distinct, and it's a blend of 60% Sangiovese, 20 Syrah, 20 Merlot on clay soils. First vintage of this wine was 2006, so a relatively new product here, different from the Chianti Il Ducale. And a good amount of red cherry fruit on the nose, hints of fresh plowed earth, and some mushroomy notes, some fine herb sage there as well. Bright ribberry fruit showing through on the tongue with smooth, round tannins. Really good freshness in this wine, that hint of earth and herbs showing. Some really plummy on the finish, though. A really good bottle of wine for 18 bucks. So the first and the last wine take the cake here with these guys from Ruffino. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.